Hi Aquarius, it's Jenny here with your September Tarot Horoscope. So as always, we're just going to pull a single card for the month of September, see what's coming up for you. So this September, as with every September, we have the equinox towards the two-thirds through the month. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, that's going to be the autumn equinox, and then if you're in the south, it's going to be the spring equinox. So we're starting with Virgo season up until equinox, and then we'll be rolling into Libra season. And I have a card for you. So the card for you this month is the King of Cups. So this is the way he looks the right way up. We have this king, and he has these two different scepters in his hand, kind of these trees above him, and this big cup. And all around him, there's this outline of this big kind of chalice or beaker. And he's kind of inside of that. So we're going to see what the King of Cups has for you this month. Okay. King of Cups, your heart's true desire. Strong emotions and intense desire are the essential features of the King of Cups. A big glass vessel surrounds the central figure, which has been taken from a painting by El Greco portraying the French king Louis IX. The glass symbolizes a test tube or an amniotic sac. On the one hand, it is a positive symbol of transformation, like the alchemistic crucible, and of growing life, like the womb. On the other hand, it is a negative symbol, reminding us of unpredictably dangerous scientific experiments. The glass vessel also stands for an invisible wall and shield, such as a negative spell or a curse. If this king doesn't want to become a prisoner of his own needs and emotions, he will have to learn to successfully deal with the highest emotional heights as well as the pits. This lesson is symbolized by the lily scepter, while the wand in his right hand, with a fist or devil's head at the end, indicates a person with focused energy who is not afraid of any taboos, devils, and who walks his path with a clear conscience and free of sin, lily. Instincts and presentiments, temptations, and often confusing needs have to be dealt with firmly. The fulfillment of your dominant desires and the dissolution of basic fears will lead to personal maturity and to the surmounting of all vain longing, leading to a blessed state of perfect contentment. It is through change that we grow, and the more we grow, the better we can deal with change. If we are careful not to neglect our true nature in the process, our personal dignity will be augmented. Practical advice: be true to your desires. If you walk through a dark tunnel, take a light with you. Do not be afraid of confronting taboos and the dark side, but do not become too fascinated by them either. As you learn to deal with your dominant emotions, your true desires will become clear. Okay, Aquarius, let's talk about feelings, your favorite thing. It's a bit of a cliche, whether it still stands true for all of you, that Aquarius, you kind of rather be in the head than in the emotional state. That like the rational mind and logic and using kind of our faculties of the mind is really where you excel a lot of the time, being very, very rational. And emotions can, sometimes skew with that a little bit, or just they're not as rational, they're not as predictable. It's kind of maybe you don't want to play with them as often. So this King of Cups, though, in tarot, the king is like, he's the master. He's achieved mastery. He is confident in his realm. And the cups is the realm of emotions. So the King of Cups is not batted back and forth by his emotions. He's not afraid of them. He understands that he's dealing with a lot. He has the whole kingdom of it. So he's not afraid of whatever emotions may be present in his realm. And he's taking responsibility for them, and there's probably a lot. There's a whole kingdom's worth of them. So, and emotions are, both end of that spectrum. Those desires, that passion, that joy, those things that we long for. And then also the other side of longing, disappointment, anger, fear, all of those things, they're all part of his domain. And so the invitation here is to try to be that king who is he's not afraid of them, and he's okay to cook with them and create with them, and not be this potentially kind of trapped like a genie in a bottle and like stuck in this bubbling crucible of emotions and not being able to deal with them or vent them, or just kind of always being kind of thrown away or kind of tossed at the whim of them. So if you want to be the King of Cups in command and not command in a like control of your emotions. That's the tricky thing, is it can be easy to feel like mastery equals control, as opposed to the mastery of a king is commandment, and commandment that is followed because his followers and his subjects have such belief in the king's power and his sovereignty, and so they willfully follow his commandments rather than being like only controlled through fear. So if you are afraid of your emotions, if you've been avoiding them, if you try to beat them down with your rational mind, then you're kind of like that king who's just like, oh, only ruling with an iron fist and is always afraid of being supplanted from his throne, as opposed to being in relationship with your emotions, thanking them for what they can inform you, then integrating them in balance with your rational capacities, and then you are that king that is led through, or leads through, kind of the love and trust of his subjects. And that's really what we're kind of trying to work with this month, how we can have that kind of confidence and walk in that without fearing too much. And the only way you're not going to fear your emotions is if you've survived them, you've experienced them, and you know that they will move through you, and you know that you exist beyond them. So this kind of month is maybe inviting you to try to face those emotions if there's been things that you've been avoiding, and that can be either way. You can be avoiding uncomfortable emotions and wanting to just stay in the light. You can also be avoiding good emotions and feeling like, nope, my like I don't deserve to feel good, or every time I feel good something bad happens, and so I'm just gonna not do that. I'm gonna stick with just like, I'm comfortable with disappointment, I'm familiar with discontent, but at least it's not scary and unknown, like hope, like joy. So we can go either way with the kinds of emotions that we try to avoid and what we try to embrace. So this is really trying to, the season, September, where we have that equinox. Equinox is about balance. Where the earth is even on its axis, and we have that even split between day and night. And so we're really invited this month to think about balance, to think about bringing our heart and our mind in balance, to be thinking about bringing our emotions into balance. And balance doesn't mean a flat line where nothing moves, doesn't mean that we have no emotion or we're in total control. Balance can be like this homeostatic wave where we go in between the extremes, but we do it in balance. So we have our high emotions, we have our intense sadnesses, we have our time of very rational thinking, we have our time of allowing our emotions to kind of sweep through us, and that is what balance is. So that's, this invitation is really kind of leaning into bringing balance to your emotional kingdom and what that'll look like for you, so that now it can be this, your emotions are not something that you're nervous of or trying to like squelch with your brain, with your really, really strong rational mind. So we want to augment your strengths and not just like only rely on your strengths and kind of have this atrophy a little. So as I said before the equinox, it's Virgo season right now, and Virgo season is it's an earth sign, but it's a flexible sign. So the earth signs is very much about the body and feeling into our body, and Virgo season is interested in health. So paying attention to the health of our body, health of our emotions, health of our well-being and our habits. So if you're trying to be dealing with this dance between mind and emotions, try to tap into the body as your guide and try to think of your body health. Okay, if you're in an emotional state and that feels intense, try to say, okay, where do I feel it in my body? Is it flutters in the stomach? Is it shortness of breath? Is it dry mouth? Is it am I jittery? Like, where is it in the body? And that can be this mediator to say, okay, like I'm not just a brain, I'm not just an emotional sweepscape, I am also a body, and trying to soothe the body and get in touch and connect the mind and the emotions to your physical vessel is a really great practice of not being overwhelmed one way or another. And so that's kind of, I think, where the hint for the beginning of September is really focusing on the body and connecting that mind, body, and heart and emotions all together. And then once we've had equinox, we're going to be in Libra season. And again, Libra is about harmony and balance. So it's just another kind of opportunity to be trying to be in a healthy, balanced relationship with all of these parts of yourself. And then that just helps you to go forward in the world being a more integrated unit. And when you're more integrated in with yourself and not just having one part of you always be the one in control and the one that's super confident, and if anything else happens, you're underconfident. So that full integration is really just going to help you kind of move throughout the rest of your goals. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it with that. I think that's enough for you to work with for this month. So if you are wanting any additional assistance for this season, do check out the Virgo Pay What You Can season forecasts on the YouTube channel. So again, Pay What You Can, always accessible. That's going to give you a little bit more information on the planetary transits that are happening, as well as another collective tarot reading. So that'll just give you a bit more boost and give you something to think about while you're working through these emotions. And so check that one out on my YouTube channel, and that can assist you. Otherwise, have a really great September, Aquarius. I'll be thinking about you. Take care.